Hello guys and welcome back to our channel. Today we have an anonymous submission from a girl who found that after having a child, her husband was not happy with her gaining weight and was starting to get interested in someone else, and how not only she won back him but also her career. Human condition is so fragile that at one moment we are living the best moments of our lives and another we are in the hospital. This is what I observed when I joined as a junior doctor in the most busiest hospital in the city. After graduating in medicine, I joined Cambridge Hospital to do my specialization in neurosurgery. But before that, I had to go through a house job and start my practice first and later transit into FCPS. It was the hardest week of the new year when I packed my bags and flew with a one-way ticket to London. I was way too excited to start my career in one of the best hospitals in the city. It was more of a privilege and equally an important responsibility and one of the most challenging life experiences as a doctor can have. Since all my roommates were equally qualified doctors, the gathering was pretty educational and very professional. After 2 weeks, I started my house job. My life got very busy with hectic routine as I used to go early in the morning and come pretty late at night. Most of my patients were of emergency cases or very sensitive in nature, and since being one of the most central located hospitals, it contained latest technology, so most patients preferred moving here. Initially, my duty was in the emergency ward. After a couple of months, I got transferred into the cardiology ward. This is where I finally got some time to focus on my studies and to explore other departments to consider my specialization. Also, this is where I met Dr. Alex. He was one of the most capable heart surgeons in the country, having more steady hands and a cool mind. He was very calm and calculated as well as very level-headed. Being always on time, he was always very focused on saving lives on a daily basis and was one of the favorite doctors of the patients, as he was a very caring person as well. I rarely saw him getting late or in a hurry. He was always on time and mostly even before the preparing phase. It was a privilege to join him in surgery and observe his techniques and learn from his methodologies. After giving almost 6 months in the cardiology department, I chose to specialize also in cardiology instead of neuro. Under supervision of Dr. Alex, I had no doubt that I would be also one of the best heart surgeons in the facility, and given his experience, I will be polished to the best knowledge that there is. Since he was such a charming personality, we used to spend most of our lunch together, including other staff members, and he was very generous, offering lunch to everybody in his team. This is how we started having our informal conversations about our life experiences. Though he was 5 years older to me, yet he had such an attractive personality. It took me a while to understand how much I enjoyed his company and how eager I was to learn from his experiences. One day, out of the blue after surgery, while we were having dinner and it was getting pretty late, Dr. Alex asked me, "Would you like to join me for a walk?" I immediately agreed since the park was right next to the hospital and stretching our legs was very important since we rarely got any time to exercise. He was totally a different person while on track. He used to joke a lot and tell interesting facts about life and sometimes reflect on the philosophies of human nature. This was a very mesmerizing and pretty captivating experience. After dinner, I almost started to take a walk on a daily basis. He used to share a lot of stuff while I was a really good listener. I mostly just enjoyed his company, listening to his advice, suggestions, experience, or his reflections. Before we knew it, we became pretty close to each other and we became very good friends, and it was very clear that we both are interested in each other, and just after a couple of months, he officially proposed to me. I simply couldn't believe it. I obviously agreed and was so happy that I was flying high in the skies. When I first visited his home, I was shocked to see that it was so huge, with almost all sorts of facilities in the most luxurious and most posh neighborhood. I was amazed to see his collection of cars. He had 5 of them in total, ranging from vintage to off-roader to city-driven and later sports cars. He told me this was built by one of the most expensive architects and interior designers in the country. Well, just after a couple of months, we got married and moved in together, and now we were almost spending 90% of our time together, either in the hospital doing surgery, teaching students, working with patients, or at home chilling near the pool. I got so busy that I rarely had any time to think about completing my specialization or doing anything significant. Then came the inevitable, and we had our first child, and we both were happy beyond any measures, and we're super excited to start the next chapter of our lives. Since we both were doctors and we're very much aware of the child and mother's health, and we're very considerate on how to move forward, I choose to be a stay-at-home mother to take care of our newborn baby, which Alex happily agreed upon, and he will be now the sole bread earner of the family, while I'll be giving my full 100% undivided attention to our child. Over the next couple of months, I gained some weight due to health complications and now was having a bit of hard time losing it. This was also a concern raised by my husband, which obviously I took seriously and took it pretty hard and started exercising, but still I was constantly failing at it. It was far more complicated than I had anticipated, and each pound that I had gained was simply not buzzing off despite me trying really hard. That was something that started to bother Alex, and he had shown a couple of times that he was not very comfortable around it and I should take care of it. Still, life progressed, but what came next was something more like a hammer blow to my esteem. Since I was not going to hospital, one day my friend told me that Alex is seeing someone else. First, I brushed it off, but soon I also started to see the patterns, as he was mostly coming late, or other times he was not in the mood to talk, or just simply giving time to the baby, not me. I protested a little, but it was not taken seriously. Eventually, I also planned to rejoin the hospital and start as a consultant because I was not fully fit to join the surgery. Days were moving smoothly as I was also getting used to my new routine, but I was still careful to only give a half day to the hospital and the rest to the baby. One day while I was passing the cafeteria, I saw Alex with another junior doctor. Since it was not something new for me, but I scoofed off. But what took me off guard was he was holding her hand and were sitting pretty close to each other. I thought maybe I was making all this up, so I requested my friend to keep an eye on this new junior doctor. After a couple of days, she also gave me news that both were seeing each other and are spending quite some unusual amount of time together, sometimes even going for walks or sitting in the cafeteria. Since this was not something strong enough to protest against, there was nothing much that I could have done. One day, while I was cleaning the rooms, I saw that Alex forgot his cell phone, and by chance it was unlocked. So I started to dig in and wanted to see what was happening on the other end. To my surprise, they both were having not only conversation, but also exchanging intimate details. This took me pretty off guard and hit me really hard. How could he do that after having his first child and the most loyal wife? My reality was shifting and I cannot make any sense out of it. This was the longest day of my life, as I waited the whole day just for Alex to return back so I may ask him what really was going on. In the evening when he returned home, I simply could not speak and just broke down in tears. He was kind of shocked to see me in this state, and tried to console me and ask me what really was going on. I showed him his phone and the conversation that he was having with his junior. At first he kept quiet, then he tried to explain that nothing really is going on between them. It was not enough for me to be satisfied, so I insisted on telling me the whole truth, and the real reason behind it was not really like him. Finally, he confessed that after having the baby, I started to gain weight and was not really in good shape. Neither was I in good company since I was mostly grumpy and irritated. He just wanted a good company to put off some focus from work and get some fresh perspective and a good laugh, and that was it. Nothing more, yet it was not enough for me as I was very hurt and kind of feeling broken. He tried his best to assure me that he in fact is a family man and he was just trying to feel refreshed. He apologized to me and promised that he would not do this ever again and would completely cut off any sort of communication that was having between them. So I agreed and forgave him, but this ignited the fire inside me to get back in shape and regain my career, to take it to the next level. I immediately joined one of the best gyms in the city and was committed to give it 6 months for the transformational program. In the meantime, I started to prep for my exams for FCPS. This time I was determined to get back on track and take my life to a whole another level while taking care of my baby and my home. But I also realized that previously I really was being way too naive and was acting mean towards my husband. So I shifted my attitude and became more caring towards him, as well as he also noticed this and started giving me more time. As I started to lose weight and get back in shape, I wanted to show him that I was so very determined in life. It just took 6 months that I not only regained my shape, but was in much better health than ever before, which was also pretty evident, and he also blown away by the way I looked and the way I carried myself. Now came the next exam that I had studied for 6 months. To my surprise, I topped the whole class and got distinction. Alex was so proud of me as I got promoted to senior doctor, and now I was also leading my own department in my own practice, reclaiming my life and regaining all the perks of the profession. It was something that I had imagined long ago, though it took 10 years to achieve this, but it was so much worth it. In the end, not only did my hard work paid off, but it also saved my marriage, and having a child was the best blessing of my life. Sometimes, in life, having some patience and determination while keeping a positive mindset and investing in our dear ones is all that it takes for us to lead a really good life. Just by avoiding negative emotions or being overly concerned or doubting our spouses can result in disaster. Given society and in this day and age, it's very important that we treat them as human beings and take care of their emotions. It's the little thing in life that really matters and makes our life worth living for. Just imagine if I had been more spectacle and mean to my husband, where would things have gone? Though I was really terrified, I did not make it into a drama but kept it to myself. I was determined to win his heart back, and his first concern was to make sure that I'm in shape, so I did my best and went above and beyond just to take care of my body and my health. It just took me 6 months to achieve what I had intended, and on top of that, finishing my specialization and starting my practice in the same amount of time was super challenging for me. Yet I worked really hard and studied day and night just to achieve my dream, the next chapter of my life. If I can do it, you can do it as well.